Pearson Sharp.
So the last video I did was kind of an introduction to what a lot of Americans today are discovering for the first time, and that's preparing for a disaster. Unfortunately, I think the kind of disaster that we're preparing for is less of the natural variety and more of the man-made type. Like I said in the last video, President Trump has hit the reset button on the doomsday clock, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't be preparing. Peace never lasts. In human history, there have been about 10,000 wars. Over 3,400 years of history, only 268 years were peaceful. That's 8%. The other 92% of history has been riddled with wars and other man-made conflicts. And there has never been a period of global peace where everyone in the world, everywhere, was at peace and there were no conflicts. When man introduced sin into the world, we lost our way and violence came into our hearts. This is not what God intended for us. This world, as it is today, this is not what our Heavenly Father wanted for any of us. He had better plans for us, but we decided to stop following God, and this is the consequence. This post-World War II long peace, as it's called, is one of the longest in history, but nothing lasts forever. And the fact that it's gone on for so long just means that it's much closer to being over. All of which is to say, be prepared. If conflict is a natural, predictable state of human existence, then it's reasonable to prepare for conflict, which means it must be unreasonable not to prepare. So while man-made disasters are what I really worry about, the information in this video will help you with natural disasters too. So feel free to cherry pick whatever suits your interpretation of your needs. Now in the last video, I discussed a bit of the why you'd need to prepare, and that basically boils down to catastrophes created by our own government. Now, whether that's the communist riots from BLM or Antifa terrorists or staged false flag operations like on January 6th, or another factor that we haven't foreseen yet, the bottom line is that it's probably caused by something the government did. This includes the tyrannical lockdowns and whatever else the globalist cabal has planned for us in the near future. Are you ready to own nothing and be happy?
We have to prepare for a more angry world. How to prepare? Takes the necessary action to create a fairer world. I see the need for a great reset.
So people assume we are just going back to the good old world which we had and everything will be normal again. This is, let's say, fiction. It will not happen.
There is only one way this pandemic is going to go. It's going to get worse and worse and worse.
The next crisis is already waiting for us around the corner, and it is the climate crisis.
And to be clear, I don't want to fight with the government. Are you kidding me? That's the last thing in the world I want. I've got a family. I've got little girls who depend on me. All I want, all any of us want, is to be left the hell alone. Stop bothering me. But Uncle Sam really isn't making it easy these days. Now, I'm far from self-sufficient. I need the grocery store like the next modern man. But internet, TV, games, other modern conveniences, whatever. I don't need them. And frankly, I think we'd all be a lot better off without any of them. I grew up in the country, but I never got into hunting, so that's not really something I'm comfortable just picking up if shit hits the fan and my family needs to eat. Plus, I live in San Diego, so living off the land isn't really an option here either. Unless you want to eat hobos, which aren't good for much else, and we got a lot of them down here, but they're also full of toxic chemicals, so probably not your first choice. Point is, there are some essential supplies you're going to want to have, and you'll want to have them squared away before the metaphorical bombs start falling. At least, we hope they're metaphorical. Going down the list, I really don't see foreign invasion as the likeliest scenario, although we've definitely been under invasion from the third world, and we've had plenty of Chinese military operatives sneak over the border, but that's a video for another time. So what do you need to have? Well, there are a lot of other videos on YouTube talking about this exact same kind of thing. So just take this as my personal opinion after several years of studying and researching this issue. Because to be honest, I've always had a preparation mindset. be prepared for anything kind of mentality, but it didn't really kick into high gear until the scam-demic, and I saw what our government was capable of doing to us firsthand. After that, all bets are off.
Oh, there's more. Look at this. They just keep coming.
Go inside! Get inside! Get inside! Get inside! Get in your house now! Let's go! Light him up! Go inside now! Get in the house!
Get in, get in, get in, get in, get in, get in! Get in!
Oh, God, that hurt. You good?
Are you okay?
Right on the fucking crotch.
Are you okay? You got hit?
I'm good. They're booked for that, dude. What?
Okay.
All right, so first and foremost, you're going to need what? What do you think? What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think about what you'll need in an apocalypse grid down scenario? You'll need water. You can go a long time without food. It's not fun, but you can. And again, let me just say that I am not some kind of badass backwoodsman who's done all this firsthand and knows what it's like to be hungry for days or weeks on end. I don't, I haven't, and I want to keep it that way. Read about the Holodomor if you want to know how bad things can get. That was a man-made famine in Ukraine created by their communist government. Millions died. Or the famine in China, created again by the communist government. Tens of millions died because the government thought they could run things better than the people could. You seeing a pattern here? Centralized planning. More people have been killed by centralized planning than anything else in this world. Communists are evil, pure and simple, and if you're not ready for that, then you're gonna find out what happens when they take over. What happened to the Tibetans when the Red Chinese rolled through Tibet and killed about 2 million native Tibetans just for being Tibetan? Countless people starved to death and were trying to eat grass, eat their own shoes, because of what the communist Chinese did to them. These hippies in America, like AOC and the Bernie Bros, who think they're fighting for a utopia, will have another thing coming. So back to water. You're going to need it. A lot of it. On a good day, you need about a gallon or less if you're inside and not doing much. On a bad day, a hot day, if you're outside, hiking around, climbing around, running from people, chasing some food, whatever it is, you're going to need a lot more. Maybe even 2 gallons. And that's just for drinking. If you're in a stable environment, if you can hang out at home and try to live a normal life, you'll need water for clothes, for toilets, for washing plates, taking baths. And water is heavy. 1 gallon of water weighs 8.34 pounds. If you're trying to carry that on your body, that's a lot of weight. And you might need several gallons, especially if you have a family. Say a family of 4, conservatively, you'll need 4 to 8 gallons of water a day. Now, if the grid's down and you turn on your faucet and nothing comes out, where's that water for your family going to come from? Do you know? You should. We've never had a case like America before. Nothing this big or advanced collapsing into total anarchy, so I'm not sure what'll happen. But my guess is we'll still have some basic services. I think we'll settle down into more regional economies and you'll be able to get most essentials at the store. But I don't know. No one does. That's just a guess. And you don't want your family's survival to depend on your guessing. In our house, I installed a full house water filtration system complete with fluoride filters, a topic for another video. So you can drink from any tap in our house. On top of that, I've got a Pro 1 water filter, which is even better than the Berkey, in my opinion. It filters out more chemicals and toxins and has another built-in fluoride filter that the Berkey doesn't have. Then, in all of our emergency packs, we've got Sawyer emergency water filters, which are designed to filter out water that you'd find in a city. Most life straws and things like that don't protect you from the kinds of chemicals and heavy metals and runoff that you'd encounter in a city. So you'd still be drinking a lot of heavy metals if you just used a life straw for a puddle in the street you came across. Then we've got a big tub liner that you can put in your bathtub, fill up the tub and seal it up, and bam, you've got 50 gallons of clean drinking water. You're going to need to purify it before you drink it, but still, it's there in your house. Get one for each tub you have. Of course, if you have a water heater, That's another 50 or so gallons on hand. And then we've got another 50 to 60 gallons of bottled water. And lastly, something I got for my truck in case we have to leave everything in a hurry, is a portable water storage tank. It's called the Aqua Tank. You can find it on Amazon, and it stores an incredible 60 gallons of water. Lastly, I've got these gallon jugs I keep in our vehicles. There's one in my wife's car and 2 in my truck. I used to keep just 1, but with the girls now, I've got 2. Probably unnecessary. I mean, I hope all of this is unnecessary. But if we get stranded or we have to leave in a hurry, we've got enough water to get us by for a little while. So all told, at any given time at home, we've got about 260 to 300 gallons of water on hand. That should get us through the first month or so of an apocalypse without having to worry about water. Now, I kind of went off on a tangent about water, which, like I said, is the most important resource you can have in a crisis. This is getting a bit long, so I think I'll do another video going over other aspects of prepping for survival, if you guys are interested. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more about this and what you'd be interested in covering. And maybe if there's interest, I can also go over some of my kit and some of the equipment and tools I have in my pack. Any road, the bottom line is that any prep is better than no prep, and a fancy survival tool won't help you survive if you don't know how to use it. Again, I am not an expert. I'm still learning a lot about all of this, something I never thought we'd need to know. Not in America, not in our lifetimes anyway. So good luck, stay safe, and go with God.